So go up to Tennessee. They have like quarter comics.
We have quarter bins and methamphetamines. You do some meth, you can look for comics for a long time.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
I'm in such
What
a
did I
fucking
walk
mood, dude.
into?
This is the
Absolutely.
show. This is all. So I just want to say thank you very much to all of our viewers. This is obviously our last show, and
reminder: this is TVMA, and this is why we have to throw this graphic up pretty often.
Not Near Mint is a show designed for audiences over the age of 18. If you're a viewer under the age of 18, please stop watching Not Near Mint. It's not that we don't want you as a fan. It's just that we'll probably get in trouble if you watch us.
Yeah.
Shall we begin? Let's begin.
Welcome to a new episode of Not Near Mint. Hey, everybody. It is Wednesday, August the 19th, and it is now 10 o'clock at night. So you know what that means. It is New Comic Book Wednesday. There was a lot of new books that came out today. There's been a lot of news. In the hour or so before going live, Olivia Wilde was just given the option to direct the new Spider-Woman movie. We don't know if it's going to be Spider-Gwen. We don't know if it's going to be Julia Carpenter. We don't know who it's going to be. It could even be Jessica Drew, but we'll figure that out later. We also are going to be having a very special guest coming on to our show later this evening. Hopefully he should be in here sooner than later. And in fact, it looks like he's already here. So first, before we bring him on, how about we bring in the rest of our panel, starting with Lady Fantastic.
Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing well. Very nice to see you. And on to the more beautiful people.
Oh, but you're the most beautiful here. I'm just
don't play to my vanity, please.
Well then. So next up, we got the Mind Shift, because if you're here, you got comics on the mind.
You already know. And this beautiful dude is here to say, hey, how you guys doing? Hope everybody's doing well in the community. I know it's a bit crazy out here for me and Callie because we got all these crazy wildfires going on.
Yeah, well, people were going, hey, what the pandemic. I'm going, yeah, that's pretty bad. Look at the bad things that are going to come after that. They're going to make it so much worse. And the fires, I knew it was coming. I just didn't think it would be the result of 3,500 lightning bolts.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to 2020, everybody. Speaking of which, hey, we got Miracle Man.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing tonight?
Fantastic. Oh,
We got
sorry,
some books.
not for kids.
Oh, yep. So because of that, I should probably go ahead and remove that.
Man, we're not
Stop
even
sharing.
6 minutes into the show.
Well, I want you.
Might as well turn it off. I'll see you guys tonight.
Earlier today, we wound up having, during Discovery Bay's show, he was telling about our show and telling people. So, yes, this show is adult-oriented. He even said he's probably going to start pulling people out of the lineup. So I don't know if that means that some people are too dark or some people are too, I don't know, obscene. I don't think it's us, but I think it's some of the people that we talked about a couple weeks ago. So as we know, this show is for mature audiences. We are going to drop some F-bombs in here. We're not going to show anything pornographic, maybe. So we're going to just drop that out now and say hi to our very special guest. Meet David Pepose. I'm hoping
you got it right. You got it right on the first try. That is rarer than you might think. So thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad for having you on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming, buddy.
Yeah, we were having actually a debate in the back room before we went live. We were definitely trying to say, you know what, how do we pronounce his last name? Because boy, I don't want to mess that up.
You know, I having lived with it for almost 35 years, it's a choose your own adventure kind of last name. I've heard every possible pronunciation. I've had a couple letters thrown in for good measure. So I don't take it personally anymore. But no, you got it right on the very first try. So that means the world to me. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It kind of helps that you were on over the weekend, the Mainframe Comic-Con. So I think I heard your name at least said once, because I'm a court reporter that has the last name of Worst. I cannot judge anybody, because when you have the last name of Worst, you can't condescend.
First off, I want to say that's why I sense this kindred spirit, because that's how I got my start. I was a newspaper reporter. That was sort of my very first job, and so I covered. I was general assignment, but I covered a lot of the night beat. So I was calling a lot of the police stations, trying to figure out what was going on that night. So yes, all the respect to the court reporter here.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those people that actually reports to the newspaper. I'm just the guy that shows up to your deposition, sits in the corner, and goes,
"Oh, okay. Oh, well, then you're the one who gets to strike things from the record. That is equally cool. But yes, I big props to you.
Is learning today, because I was just prior to going live, I was watching one of the podcasts that you were doing earlier in the week. I think it was who was it? It was Comics Lounge, and anybody that has not watched Comics Lounge, he has 125 subscribers. Go and check him out. And he was talking about how you just finished up a long-term run from Newsarama as the writer for reviews.
Yeah, I was the reviews editor there for over a decade. I had been writing for Newsarama since I got my start as a DC Comics intern. I worked in editorial. I worked on Batman R.I.P. I worked on Final Crisis. I worked on a few other books as well. Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, and but that was during the recession. That was sort of the height of the recession. So there were no jobs available. But I was fortunate enough to cross paths with Janelle Aslan, who had recently joined DC in the Batman office, and she had been an alum of Newsarama. So she connected me with her editor, who became my mentor, Troy Brownfield. And I was there for 12 years. And it was the longest relationship I've ever had. And it was, of course, very bittersweet to leave. But it was, all for good reasons. It was a confluence of a lot of great things. Some of it was by virtue of me having more projects down the pipeline that I knew it would become much more difficult to get to still wear both hats. And so my time leaving was going to be approaching. And speaking with senior editor Mike Duran, there was an opportunity that arose that allowed us to give more resources to the reviews team and be able to take the money that I was making and add that to the pot. So I feel like it was kind of the best possible outcome. I was able to leave the team better than I found it. And that's really all I could ever ask for. I mean, I see those reviewers as family. I handpicked all of them. So if there's ever an opinion on Newsarama you don't like, well, I'm not there anymore, so I can't take any more blame. But it was a wonderful job, and I think it was exactly the training that I needed to become the kind of writer I am. And so I'm always grateful for it, and I'm always grateful for the work that the Comics Press does. I'm sure you guys can empathize that sometimes it sort of feels like, hello, is this thing on? Is anybody listening? And I can tell you that it is on. People are listening. And your hard work in championing comics, particularly the little guy like me, it means the world.
Oh, that's cool to hear. I was going to say you were taking a certain tack there with Newsarama. I was not going to recommend. We have a good audience, and just to say real quick, thank you everybody tonight for joining us. But definitely don't don't take any blame for anything that happens at Newsarama because the internet will never forget that claim.
No, now I'm out. You can't blame me anymore. But no, I see them as family. I said when I told everybody that I was wrapping up my last 2 weeks is that, I feel responsible for them. They are family. And so being able to, ride off into the sunset in a way that benefits them. It's all I could have asked for.
Yeah, you're not saying it's the end of the movie half baked and you're going F you, you're cool.
No.
F you, I'm out of here. Bye.
Yeah, exactly.
Go, hey, at least we can still approach you. You didn't burn any bridges, which is kind of important when you're working in an industry that's still very close knit. Everyone really knows one another.
Sure.
And you can always go back to them later on to say, hey, I have a new book coming out, and do you think you might have to review? Instead
Absolutely.
of, I'm going to be shitty to you so that naturally you'll be more predisposed to give me a bad review.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not my style. And some of my best friends are on that team, and so these are people that I still talk with every single day, even if I'm not a part of the team anymore. So it's I couldn't be totally free of that. It'd be like losing a limb. But as far as sort of not having the day-to-day responsibilities of writing reviews, it's a whole new world. But I feel like by virtue of the work that I've got coming, especially with the Kickstarter that I just launched this week, seeing how strongly people have responded to it, it really feels like a leap of faith rewarded.
Yeah. Now, speaking of your new Kickstarter here, leaping off of where you've just come from, and I'm loving from that previous interview, your description of what these titles are like. So this is right off the back of Spencer and Locke that you have said is like Calvin and Hobbes meets Sin City. Yep. Then after, following with Going to the Chapel, which I remember that we had Miracle Man down here showing every single issue, talking about how great it was. And
Thank you so much.
He's the one reading. I still got to get it eventually. I need to find it. My shop.
We've got offers on the Kickstarter that we can get you a copy of the trade. Pluggity plug.
Well, that's so your new book is called The Oz. It's a cross between The Hurt Locker and The Wizard of Oz. Or rather, it's Mad Max meets Hurt Locker meets The Wizard of Oz. So take it away. What's this book about?
So the OZ is we reframe the wicked, or we reframe Dorothy Gale killing the Wicked Witch of the West as something like a botched regime change. And so when Dorothy clicked her heels and returned home to Kansas, she inadvertently left the land of Oz in this horrific power vacuum that leads to years of brutal civil war. And so our story picks up a generation later with Dorothy's granddaughter and namesake, who's a disillusioned Iraq war veteran who, she's come home with some real trauma and some real guilt and some real scars. And she's trying to put the pieces of her life back together. Unfortunately, when a tornado strikes in Kansas, she finds herself dropped in this war-torn land of Oz. So Dorothy's going to have to confront her past and her grandmother's legacy, not to mention her grandmother's former friends, if she hopes to survive the occupied zone, or as the locals call it, the OZ.
That sounds awesome, I just want to say.
And this is going to be an ongoing or a mini-series?
So right now we have it scheduled. This will be the first of 3 Kickstarter campaigns for 3 double-sized issues. I had written it originally as 6 regular-sized issues and realized the issues paired together really nicely, which is kind of what emboldened me to bring it to Kickstarter in the first place. And so right now our story, it's self-contained. I want to give people a beginning, middle, and end. It is challenging to keep a story sustained for that long, especially in the Kickstarter platform. I can tell you 3 days in, it's the most rewarding but most exhausting thing I've ever done in comics. So I don't want to kill myself or my creative team. But that said, I always write with another idea in my back pocket, and so if the demand is there and my bandwidth and artist Ruben Rojas's bandwidth is there, never say never. This is the OZ, and so there's always another battle around the corner. And I think we've got plenty of room to explore even beyond what I consider to be one of the most sweeping and high scale stories that I've ever written.
And I'm putting now, for those at home that are watching, this is the Kickstarter link. I will post it in the chat. So those of you that want to go and check that out, go ahead and do so. As you see, they have 630 backers. I believe yesterday, about 18, 19 hours ago, that's when I saw that you were up to like 575. So you have blown away the $6,000 goal here. And
yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. It's, I'm so blown away. I'm so stunned. The thing is the OZ, I've been working on this since my first book, Spencer and Locke, came out. And,
bro,
thank you. That Mon House cover.
This is the shit.
You will be really happy to know
this is
that.
You?
That's me.
You seem so much cooler in this comic.
Lady fantastic, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. Now I know.
I'm going to write that on my tombstone.
David, I just want to thank you for being the last guest who's going to be willing to come on this show. Thank you so much.
No, I love it. I love it. Honestly, you busting my balls is keeping me alive right now. I'm so exhausted. That's hilarious.
This should be a form of flattery. I have your product.
I really appreciate it. And let me tell you, if you that specific cover, we have that same cover artist doing a variant for the OZ. His name is Mon House. He deserves all the awards. Yes.
That's the one I'm going to be getting, that variant, the Death from Above, right?
Yep, our Death from Above, our Winged Monkey variant. Mon is a terrific artist.
Dude, this is good. You guys need to read it. It really is like...
It's a great book.
Thank you. I'm hard at work on volume 3. It's just taken a little while because unlike between volumes 1 and 2, I didn't have any books to write in between then. And since then, I've had 7 books that I've had to write in between then. So I'm getting there. I promise I'm digging out of everything. But the thing is with Spencer and Locke, it looks like it would have been a sure thing in retrospect. But when it was coming out, I was like terrified I was going to get run out of the industry. When you have a book that's What If Calvin and Hobbes Grew Up in Sin City, that's a book that you either succeed or fail loudly. You cannot do that quietly.
Right?
Thank you. I mean, but it was one of those things. I wrote that book as a bucket list comic where I was just like, everything I want in a comic, I need to write it now because this might be the last thing I ever write.
And you know what? Eric Powell did the same thing, and that character was called the Goddamn Goon.
Yeah.
And Stan Lee did the same thing. It was called the Fantastic Fucking Four.
Okay, so you guys are definitely raising me way out of my batting range. Thank you. I'm insanely flattered to not be. I shouldn't be in those sentences at all. But thank you.
The sentence that you uttered is not any different. That you wanted to write one thing that you really cared about because it could be the last thing that you ever wrote.
Well, that was like my kamikaze mission. Like it was just like, I don't know if I'm coming out of this on the other side.
That was totally a Fantastic Four story, I think.
Yeah. Well, but thankfully people liked it. And the thing is, I've been working. The OZ was one of 3 stories that I started work on immediately after Spencer and Locke. And the other 2 being Spencer and Locke 2 and Going to the Chapel, my most recent book. So this has been in the works for a long time. I like, it feels like you can't understand the weight that is off my shoulders being able to talk about this book. And being able to show off the tremendous artwork that Ruben Rojas and Whitney Kogar have been working on all these months. I feel lighter than air. It is so good not to keep secrets. So yeah, except that I'm going to keep a whole bunch more secrets about what the book is. But it's just no spoilers. but just seeing the way that people have responded to this book, you believe in the book, because you believe in your team, but to see the world just jump on it the way that they did, it's one of the most encouraging things that I've ever experienced as a creator. It's on a very short list, I think, of incredible moments. And I think being able to interact with our readership, that's something that Kickstarter does really, really well. We're able to make it very personal, and we're able to really be able to talk with our readers on a one-on-one basis. And it really gets me inspired. It makes me even more proud than usual to be a part of this crazy industry that we find ourselves in.
I got to say, there's one thing that I've noticed, and I've watched a lot of Kickstarter campaigns. I've only really been buying Kickstarters myself for the last year or so, but there's one thing I've noticed, and the ones that have really seemed to kick it into pretty high gear in terms of fundraising are the ones where the people are hustling. And I'll tell you what, man, I've been watching you. You have been hustling.
Thank you.
I see you on social media all the time. You're constantly talking to people. You're constantly talking about the project.
How about this? You can jump on over to YouTube, type his name in, and just put in the last week, and you'll see 5 videos, including this one.
Well, there you go. There you go.
And it's only midway through the week. Right.
Yeah. The thing is that, it's funny. You never know what your destiny is going to be. My comics trajectory has never been a straight line. It's been more of a lightning bolt. It's more of a zigzag. And there's been so many times where I've been thinking, am I doing the right thing, or am I wasting everything? I've worked in comics journalism. I've worked as a newspaper reporter. I've worked in publicity for CBS in New York. I've worked as a literary assistant in Hollywood. I've done so many things that you would not think would compute into this business of writing comics, and yet it is all computed into this business of writing comics.
And so I'm feeling even more honored to talk to you about all this, because with that story, I'm hearing names in the back of my head, like Kevin Smith, who worked at a video store along with Quentin Tarantino, then having somebody like Robert Kirkman wanting to put everything that he can because it could get canceled at any second. So I'll tell my editors that Walking Dead is, aliens did it. And the last person I can think of, Donny Cates, who started out as a penciler, went to school for writing, and they went, hey, you can probably do this. Yeah. Was bouncing around. Most of his stuff got canceled, like Paybacks, like Buzz, which was amazing. It was supposed to be 12 issues. They said, not canceled, you have to do it in like 4 or 5. And it was amazing, but they killed off all 12 steps. So look at where they came from to where they are now, and on your journey. If this is all about the journey, I think you are more successful than you are giving yourself credit for.
Well, for me, I appreciate that. And again, that is another long list of names that I have no business being in the same sentence of. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me that thing my parents did, validation. But I no, the thing is, like, there's so many skills that you pick up that you don't realize are gonna be survival skills for you later. So for me, going back to sort of talking about promoting, I remember my very first comic convention. We had announced Spencer and Locke at New York Comic Con, and I was woefully unprepared. I didn't have banners. All we had was a convention variant that we got the wrong price on the cover for. I had never tabled before, and I watched artist Hoyt Silva. Love the guy. He's so charming and outgoing, and I just watched him work, and I realized, these books do not sell themselves. You have to sell the books. And on top of that, working with artist Jorge Santiago Jr. on Spencer and Locke, and this has been the case with every artist I've ever worked with since. Most artists are very introverted. They're not going to be the ones who are going to be shouting from the rooftops about their work. That's not who they are. These are the people who, they're going to hunker down and they're going to focus and they're going to draw. And so I realized very quickly that I had to get over any self-consciousness, because it's not me I'm promoting, it's them. That's the thing that I owe them. And I think we were talking a little bit about, Newsarama, how I see these reviewers as family because I brought them into this mess. And I feel the same way about my comics collaborators. Anytime that somebody says yes to work on a project with me, they're going out on a limb. And it's not because like I'm persona non grata or anything, but just, they don't know who I am. My body of work is still fairly limited. And, they have no idea if they're working on a book that's going to succeed or if they're working with a crazy person. And so
they chose to drink the Kool-Aid, and so they're in it to win it.
They're in it to win it.
Yeah. It's the same with science. It's the exact same with science. It's like writers, scientists, they're introverted. And it's like, you don't know what the science is going to fucking work out, but you believe in it. And the PI cares and he wants to see everybody succeed. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. You're what you said about belief is exactly it. I don't work on I'm fortunate having worked in the indie scene that I don't work on books I don't believe in, and I don't work with teams I don't believe in. Right. By having no editors and no publishers to placate, it's all on me. And so I always want to leave it all on the field. I want to leave no stone unturned because my goal is I want my collaborators to succeed. I want them to get the spotlight they so justly deserve. And I also, I want to build a wider consensus. I want to invite more people to the table. That's ultimately the only way that I'm going to be a 20-year man or a 30-year man in this business is inviting more people and sort of, diversifying in terms of the genres that I'm working within and the markets that I'm reaching. That was one of the reasons.
Best work is if you would start including more people, you get better quality of work.
Absolutely. And I think that's why I did Kickstarter. There's so many people who buy their books exclusively through or primarily through comic shops. And there's some people who buy their books primarily through Amazon or Comixology, and some people who primarily buy their books through conventions, which I don't do anymore because of the pandemic. And there are some people, and this was the kind of light bulb moment, there are people who primarily buy their books through Kickstarter. And I realized I was leaving an entire demographic untapped, unreached. And so I wanted to perform that outreach. And, on the flip side of things, we had pitched the OZ, we had publishers interested in the OZ, but the thing that, I don't think it's any secret in the comics industry is, sometimes things move slowly. It's a chaotic business. There's lots of stuff going on. Even people with the best of intentions, it can be a little slowed down. And so we had publishers interested, and then it would, stuff would come up. And so it would take months and months and months, and we hadn't heard anything. Or the conversation would start all over again from the beginning. And so when COVID hit, I took stock and I realized, oh, hey, I could solve one problem with another. We had 2 standard length issues of the OZ ready. And the benefit of that series is each issue pairs together nicely. It fits in a 3-act structure. I said, what am I doing waiting for permission? We have the book ready. And that way we're able to give a book like the OZ a home, but we're also able to introduce ourselves to the Kickstarter community with our absolute A game. And so it's really a win-win. And I think that's something that our readership has really started to respond to.
It's awesome, dude.
Well, going back to what you just said here, because I know we're almost 30 minutes in and you have a midnight interview, I was told, which, wow, you really do work hard. Going back to this question, so when you wind up going and talking to other publishers about ideas, creative for your own stories, for other stories, knowing that sometimes publishers, especially editors, like to eat one another as far as stories go, where you wind up seeing the Winter Soldier in one story, and all of a sudden within about the same month or so, you're seeing the Red Hood. And you're going, these stories are very similar, all the way to up till and including within this last 12 months. You had essentially the same story being told in 2 Marvel books. Captain Marvel and Avengers, where you have the entire team taken out one by one by an Avenger that's either mind controlled or otherwise something similar, one by one until they all realize, oh, it's all a miscommunication. Let's go save the day. Wait a second, that's the same idea that I had. Wait a sec, who's talking? Who's leaking information? Are you worried about plot points, things getting out that you might think is some great turning point to your series, but if you wind up letting a little too much information out, you might wind up seeing it in a future story elsewhere?
So for me, it's not so much about worrying about seeing it somewhere else. I mean, because I can't control. Like if I started thinking about that, I'd drive myself crazy because, they can't read my mind any more than I can read their mind. That said, I do like to play things a little close to the vest. I mean, for the OZ, I teased it in my newsletter, Pep Talks. I teased it as Project Saffron for the better part of a year. And, having come from that journalism and publicity background, I do value a good reveal, a good press rollout. So, I do keep those a little close to the vest, but, beyond that, I think, most people see, if they like an idea, they would much rather just buy it from you than rip it off, because you already have it done. So I'm less concerned about, and sometimes synergy happens. Sometimes it's just an idea's in the zeitgeist, and so you have a couple of things that kind of bounce off each other. I can't speak to like Marvel doubling up, for example. I mean, sometimes you don't know what things are gonna echo each other until it's like in retrospect. You can be so in it that you don't realize it until somebody mentions it to you. But yeah, at the same time, I try to keep my talk, I try not to talk out of school. And as far as my idea development process goes, I have a pretty solid core group of people that I trust. And so I'll sort of bounce my ideas off them because I trust their judgment and I trust that they're not going to hurt me. That they'll be critical, but that they're not going to be personal about it. And so yeah, I don't know. It's a really good question. I think I guess I've never considered the day that I start getting worried that people are going to start stealing my stuff. I probably will have more confidence in my work at that point. It's just. I just want to do my own thing, and I trust everybody else to do their own thing. And beyond that, the chips will fall where they fall, and there's only so much I can control.
Keep your shit protected, because in the science world, people steal ideas all the time and take the credit for it. It's no different. It's all about original ideas.
There's only been the last time science was done was 1913. Everything since then is just the same science repackaged as new science.
Are you serious?
You got the cable, lady.
Just like they say, the last new comic idea was 1956. The
That could
start
be
of the
true.
the
It's
start
not
of the
true.
Silver Age.
They can say things they don't have to be true.
So I had to ask. This one stood out to me immediately because of the subject matter. I'm personally a very big fan of both the original Wizard of Oz as well as Mad Max, despite the unfortunate turn of Mel Gibson.
Sure.
So those are two, both films, both genres, both the mystique behind it. I mean, I have everything from the original Wizard of Oz books, not first printings, of course, all the way up through to the modern stuff like Barnstormer of Oz with Philip Jose Farmer and
Who wrote them? Baum? BAUM?
Yeah.
Yep. So are you particular fans of those two?
Yeah. Well, so it's funny. So my real post-apocalyptic cred, and even though I've said that this is not really a post-apocalyptic book, I joke it's more like a pre-apocalyptic book. Like things are there's still civilization in Oz. It's just things are not great right now.
Right.
Fallout is kind of my personal bag. I've actually had to ban myself from playing that game because I would not get any work done. But yeah, Mad Max, Fury Road, I thought was a beautifully choreographed and just produced film. And for the Wizard of Oz, for me, what's interesting. So, I grew up with the Judy Garland film, like I think many people have. As a kid, it kind of blew me away, just, that super saturated Technicolor. And as an adult, I actually revisited L. Frank Baum for a class in adolescent literature in college. I wrote a term paper saying that Oz was kind of like a prototypical superhero universe. Baum wrote 20 novels, and he was building on continuity and mythology decades before Stan and Jack ever hit the scene.
Oh, yeah.
And, having all these different countries and species and magic and power sets, like it felt very
like
superhero.
Yeah.
Same Tolkien.
Yeah. It was one of those things for me. It was less about, I really want to do a story about Oz. It was more of Oz was kind of the thing that tripped into the story I wanted to tell. When I had finished Spencer and Locke, I'd done a crime book, and I was working on a romantic comedy, twist on that with Going to the Chapel. And I said, okay, what are the other genres I want to work in? What are kind of the major food groups here of comics? And, I wanted to do sci-fi. Sci-fi is kind of hard for me. It's one of the harder genres for me because you have to come up with the rules. Whereas fantasy, something that really appeals to me is that it's so based on metaphor and character. Those are where the rules are, and that you can slot them in with the characterization nicely. And I said, what kind of genre can I throw up against fantasy? I like doing mashups because I have a bucket list a mile long. And so every time I can do a mashup, it means I clear through that bucket list twice as fast. So I wrote down on a Google Doc, just, some classic fantasy, just as sort of a starting point to see if there's anything that can inspire me. And so, I wrote down things like Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, Lloyd Alexander, Piers Anthony. And I wrote down The Wizard of Oz. And as I saw my cursor kind of flashing on the word Oz, it kind of hit me that, this feels like an acronym. And I was like, I thought of like DMZ, for example. And that's when it like hit me like a sledgehammer of OZ being the occupied zone. And I immediately was just like, this is a war book. And I thought of this image that is really, Ruben Rojas was like scary at how well he channeled the image I had in my mind. But this idea of the tin soldier having been destroyed and rebuilt so many times that he's turned into this like towering war machine freedom fighter. And Dorothy sitting next to him as this sort of disillusioned soldier. And I couldn't get the image out of my head. I was like, this is a story that I have to write. And working with Ruben especially really galvanized that. By the time I saw that cover, I told Ruben, I made him a promise right there. He'd only done 6 pages in a cover as a pitch, just to see if we worked well together. And I said, Ruben, keep working. I swear to you, I will get this book out. And that's just the kind of guy he is. He's just so, he's a superstar of the making. He's like if Dan Mora and Sean Murphy had a baby. It's just purely next level line art and next level coloring by Whitney Kogar. And when you work with a team that talented, it's hard not to feel excited, and it's hard not to feel conviction and to say, come hell or high water, this is getting made.
Very cool.
It's awesome.
Cool.
So can I make a recommendation for your next mashup?
Yeah.
I think you should do a mashup with Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
She's
Welcome
alive.
welcome to the Oprah-fied zone.
The OW.
You get a car, and you get a car.
Hey, never forget, Oprah was so powerful at one point she got
Sorry.
Obama elected.
I just had to throw Oprah on you to keep you, like I said, keep you on your toes.
Keep me on my toes.
You
I
want
totally
some
get that.
power? There's some power right there.
If somebody did an Oprah Obama superhero mashup, I would absolutely buy that book. I would. It'd be like a Wonder Woman, Superman, kind of like the Cal Ennis character. I would buy that comic. I'm just putting it out there.
All right, you guys are gonna make me go get.
Oh, and she's muted.
No, I gotta go grab my stack of crazy political comics.
I don't know if
he
you
does that. David, we always do this when we close a show. We're not closing the show yet, but I know that you have other things that you need to be doing.
Sure.
So we always do this thing called promote yourself. So inside, for people that want to find, if they want to find you, Instagram, Twitter, shout out where they can find you. If you have a YouTube channel, go ahead. You have the floor until Lady Fantastic gets back with political comic books.
Yeah, well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PeposD. It's my last name, first initial. You can also follow David Pepos Comics on Facebook. You can subscribe to my newsletter, Pep Talks, at bit.ly/pepnews. And you can back the OZ at bit.ly/the OZ comic or at the link down here below. You can also follow it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the OZ comic.
And I know that you also have a Pep Talk, which is kind of like a blog or something to
it's my
know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's my newsletter. I send it out every 3 weeks, just to let my family know I'm still alive. And I get to talk. I talk a lot about the work that I'm doing, any releases that are coming out. I like to do a little bit of process, so I invite reader questions and I try to answer one every week, down to just reading recommendations and things that I'm that I'm reading and enjoying, and then just kind of closing it up with a moment of pep, fun little comics things that I find on the internet, just to give everybody a little bit of a chuckle. But yes, please, subscribe to the newsletter. I'll be sending another one out on Monday, and I'll be actually working on this weekly as long as the Kickstarter is in session. So please follow us, and please feel free to back the OZ. It's Kickstarter, so every dollar counts, every backer matters. And we're working really hard to have tons of rewards to make it worth your while. In addition to our 44-page first issue, we're going to add some pinups to the book already. We're talking with the printer on ways to enhance our covers. We've got a digital comics extravaganza that we're going to be giving to every backer once we clear our first stretch goal. That's going to be books from over a dozen creators. So not only are you getting the 44 pages of my book, but you're going to be getting hundreds of pages of other people's. Oh, wow. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got so many cool rewards in play, that we are working on some really beautiful, cool stuff. And so, because ultimately this is not about a cash grab. I don't make comics to get rich because it's expensive to make comics. But what I want is I want the readership. I want to build that wider consensus. And so, if you're listening, thank you for considering us. We promise you this book is going to be worth your while.
Well, two quick things here. I'm seeing Eighth McGrath piggybacking off of Hopefully Fantastic's comment with Oprah. Oprah meets a Serbian film.
Oh, God.
Seen that.
Oh, God.
If there's movies that you want to wash your brain and eyeballs with bleach, and that's one of them. It's a great character movie because he does progress, but oh, dear God, the things that you have to endure. So I would not want to pick up that comic book. But also, she wants you to say trans rights.
Trans rights. Absolutely. Absolutely. And screw anybody who thinks otherwise.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. If you haven't seen a Serbian film, David, I beg of you, do not go and search this film out. Erase
after his midnight interview.
Erase this from your memory. This entire part of the conversation as though it never occurred.
So, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, this is David Pepos. You got the last word. What do you want to tell the ladies and gentlemen that are at home watching right now?
Back the OZ, trans rights for everybody. Thank you for all your support. It takes a village to support every indie creator. And so for all the listeners, all the readers, all the fans, everybody on this podcast, all the journalists and retailers and creators who have really rallied to support our work. We thank you. And just please keep telling your friends, keep backing us. We want everybody to be a Yellow Brick Road warrior. So please join us in the OZ today.
Nice.
Thank
Right
you
on, man.
so very much. This is David Pepose. Look up his books. You can find at hopefully your local comic shop, Spencer and Locke, along with Going to the Chapel, and coming soon, as long as you bastards out there support it, the OZ. It stands for the Occupied Zone in Hides.
Thanks for coming by, man. It was really good
Thank
meeting you.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, David. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I wish you the best. I mean, I'm not sure if you're going to get funded, but
I mean, it's only 4 times the funding goal at this point,
yeah, not good
We
with
got
numbers, but
goal at $23,432. This is the man, David Pepose, everybody.
Thank you guys for having me. You guys have a great night.
Thank you. You too,
Thank
David.
you. Till next time. All right. So now that we just got a chance to talk with David Pepose, I know that some of us got a chance to pick up some comics. I got a lot of stuff. I know that Lady got there a little bit late, and these days going to the comic shop, it's a crapshoot. If you're not there, like from the second it opens, it seems.
I mean, I got back issues, but I want somebody else to go first because I think you should go first. You've never gone first.
All right, I can go first. Well, let me get rid of this stop screen and bring in the other screen because I need to jump on over to one of my little things. So
Am I being too bossy?
yes, you're bossy.
Well, aren't you bossy?
I'm sorry.
The goddamn briefcase, everybody. I don't know. It was a heavy week. So you tell me, should I go with the books I'll go with the books that just came out, and then I'll show you the stuff that came in. So switching over to a different camera now, and here you go. These are the books that came out today. I read some of them, not all, a few. So Avengers, this is one of those stories where, Moon Knight kind of thinks that the world is about to end because of Mephisto, so he takes the power of everybody just like Captain Marvel did a couple months ago. But it's still really good, and I didn't realize that Moon Knight could lift Mjolnir because it's made of Uru, which is moon rock.
Oh, shit.
And here we got Captain Marvel, the newest issue. I read this. This is some more Carol Core, some more character development with L'Oreal. And if you haven't been picking it up, this is some good stuff. Haven't read Swordman yet. Haven't read the reprint of Maestro, but I'm now looking for the Steranko variant because my shop got in 2 and they were already assigned to other people. God damn it. Spider-Woman number 3, I haven't read it yet. Star number 4, haven't read that yet. Thor number 6, I read. Now, I saw the other copy, the 1 in 50 today over at Corca's Comics, and holy shit, guys, this thing is going for $125 just at that store alone.
No way.
Shut the front door.
Okay. And Lady Fantastic, I think you said that you wound up getting a copy on eBay, right?
Yeah, I bought that A cover for $10.
I'd
For
still
what?
say it's worth it. It was a good story.
That was a phenomenal final issue to the opening.
Damn it, they had Valkyrie too, man. My place didn't have Diddley. Ugh.
Not only did all right, so Valkyrie, I didn't realize it. It's on issue 10. I missed number 9. When did number?
Oh, I hate that.
So now I have to go find a 9.
We have
So
between us.
I picked up the 3rd print of this. I don't know why. But apparently all these 2nd and 3rd prints are now starting to really blow up. So might as well at least have one on hand. I only pick up one of anything, but unfortunately I kind of accidentally picked up 2 of a few things. And one of them was Venom, the 2nd print of issue 26.
I don't have it, so
Nope,
meow.
you're getting it because I picked up 2. It's in your pile.
Did you get a Spider Woman?
I did.
Okay, good.
That one I did get. So this one apparently is an issue people want this week because it's the first meeting of Deadpool and young Cable, but to me it's just the next issue of Cable. This has been a good series. I picked up the variant cover. I haven't read the last issue, but it's been pretty solid thus far. Magic and Demon Form. Pretty goddamn awesome cover. Next up, Excalibur 11. This is going to be leading into that sword storyline that goes like 20, 30 issues. Oh, God damn it. But there's probably going to be one that's going to blow up to $100 within a month. Just watch. Wolverine number 4. Speaking of which, it's not going to be this one. Wolverine number 4. I haven't read this, but I know in issue 3, Magneto gets wasted-ass drunk with Wolverine, and that looked pretty goddamn funny, so maybe I should be reading this.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And now, Batman number 97. Some more punchline stuff, and the story progresses a little bit, but most of this issue is Batman tripping balls. And then after you think he's done tripping balls, Harley does something, and she even tells him, you're going to be tripping balls, but at least the poison will wear off. So it's Batman tripping balls, everybody. Catwoman 23, the second print, because I got the first print, but it was the B cover because I'm getting B covers on everything. And I got the regular print because we're getting this new Catgirl, and I got my regular B cover. Then I picked up Harley 75 as the final issue, and it has a rematch with Punchline and Harley. I'm kind of done with Punchline. Looking forward to her dying or something. Justice League 51 is now being written by Jeff Loveless or Loveness. I don't know. It's Loveless. But I haven't been reading it since Snyder got off the book. Now, Nightwing 73 was pretty decent. I'll give you that. But it's still Rick not being Rick. He still doesn't know who he is, and he thinks he's being raised by the Joker. Some more Crush and Teen Titans. Haven't read it yet. Wonder Woman Annual. Haven't read it yet. Chew, second print. This picks up not where Chew left off. It picks up before the first issue of the first volume. This is Tony Chew's sister. She is a criminal mastermind where all you need to do is share a meal next to her, and she knows everything about you. Decorum number 4. It's Hickman. I'm waiting until it gets to issue 6 before I read them all. Once in Future, number 9 came out already, but I wound up picking up issue 1 through 8, and I didn't know 9 was already out, so I also picked up a 10 today. And then for Brad, and for somebody that I know that's a good friend of mine that likes some Savage Dragon, I picked up that for him. And then I picked up a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legend 26. I think that's going to be the last one as far as the new books that came out today. Now, let me show you some things that came in. And yeah, hopefully me gliding right past that faux pas. I hope nobody noticed. There's some things I got in from Lady Fantastic.
What?
Yes.
Wompity womp.
What?
Earlier in the week, Lady Fantastic and I went live on her channel, and we were just opening up packages and showing books. And these are the books she sent me. DC Universe variants, guys.
Love it.
Love this.
That Bloodsport is also an awesome character because, he's evil and horrible, and he gets his just desserts eventually.
Look how big that stupid gun is.
It's so bad. It's so bad, dude.
Terrible art.
He sent me 2 DC Universe variants, and it's both issue 702 of Action and Detective.
Very nice. Very nice.
So for OCD people out there, I'm kind of one of them. Yeah, there you go. And we get Aquaman of these. I need to find an issue 2 of Aquaman. That's the issue where he loses his hand. But I finally had the first issue of this. I never had the first issue. Not only do I have the first issue, it's a DC Universe variant. I also have an issue 6, so now I kind of want to look through the rest of them for the DC Universe. I'm just a DC Universe variant whore, everybody.
Amongst others.
Wait, what?
I said amongst others.
Justice League 91 DC Universe. Superman 75, the 4th print.
Nice.
Now I just got to find myself a newsstand.
Yeah, forget about that, man. That's like a needle in a haystack being thrown around by a tornado.
One
What?
day. One day.
Newsstand, 4th print.
4th print newsstand, baby. It's tough.
And lady is getting me started off on my Dazzler. I only had issue 1, that error variant, but now she's getting me on Sinkowitz. So now I got to look for all the rest of the Sinkowitz Dazzler covers. So here we have a 27.
It's a Sinkovich.
Sinkovich. What did I say?
Sinkowitz. I think that's what most people say.
Sinkovich. Because I'm
Those
a little.
covers are. Sorry.
I had a plastic bag, man.
Those covers are bomb on the Dazzler run, man.
Sink a
They're
bitch.
so funky.
Sinkovich. We got ourselves a Guardians of the Galaxy 22. This is the issue after where you find out.
No. It's the issue before.
Yeah,
23 is the last one. That's Rocket Raccoon. 23 is
Okay.
Rocket.
All right, so I have most of the run. It's towards the end that I wound up totally screwing the pooch and just not picking them up because I was homeless. So I had to pick and choose. Guardians wasn't the top of the top list. And Spider-Woman number 2. So now I can finally read issue 3 that I got today. Hells yeah. And now to show you the last few books that I wound up getting. So I guess you now know that I'm starting my run of Luke Cage, Hero for Hire.
Pretty.
I've been looking forward to getting these old issues for freaking ever, man.
Yeah. They're just cool looking. Every single cover is awesome. They have a really cool trade dress on them. It's just an awesome book.
Yeah. So much so that I'm missing 2, but I got an issue 3, an issue 4, the first appearance of Black Mariah in issue 5.
Boy, he has a tough time keeping his shirt on.
Issue 50 that I got last week.
Banger.
The 4th appearance of Sabretooth.
Oh, fudge. Who's on that cover art, bro?
This is Dennis Cowan and Carl Potts.
Yeah.
Sabretooth from 1981.
You lucky son of a gun. Oh my goodness.
Oh, There were 3 things that I wanted to get before the end of the year, and this is one of them. That was Thor, God of Thunder, the full run, Adam Legend of Blue Marvel 1 through 5, and I read it. This is a great series. This should definitely be made into a movie. It has that 1960s feel. It has the racism through it, and it makes you understand why this guy, Adam Brashear, was not active for decades and decades. And it makes sense that now he's back, and just like Sentry, he's just accepted into the Marvel Universe. But this series is amazing. I hope it gets reprinted because even the trade paperbacks are like $200.
Crazy tough to come by. Super low print runs.
Yeah, like these issue 2, 3, 4, like 5,000 print run, 6,000.
That's low on a Marvel book.
And to be fair, the art is a little janky. It seems a little rough at patches, but if you can get past some of the art, the storytelling is great. I don't know who Kevin Greview is, but maybe I should be checking out some of his other books.
Yeah.
Issue 4. And here's a good little tidbit. Adam Brashear and Namor are like really good friends.
That I didn't know.
So unrelated to this, but very similar type of background on a story. And if you've never heard of it, The American Way. It was a Wildstorm book. I think they did a sequel when Wildstorm came into Vertigo. Very similar idea. It's a Silver Age set book. It's modern, but it's set in the Silver Age. And the most powerful superhero they have is a black man, and they put him in an astronaut suit so you can't tell who he is. And eventually, everything falls apart. Essentially, because they find out their most powerful hero is a black man. Great series. I highly recommend it if you come across it. I find them in dollar bins all the time just because it's not real well known, but it is phenomenal.
And apparently, this Adam Legend of Blue Marvel has only been around since 2009. So it led me to wonder, what the hell was I doing in 2009? Oh, yeah, I was married, and towards the end of the year, I was getting divorced. But back then, I had my own personal comic dealer where I would drive out to his the trailer park that he lived in, and he would get all his books in, and I'd get first shot to choose pretty much everything. So I didn't
love it.
Of Blue Marvel until Ultimates from Al Ewing. So who wants to go next? Yeah, and Ace is right. Rob's lazy. Hasn't read anything. I've been. All right, so real quick, if I can just indulge real quick, because we are now 1 hour into the show, and since we are going to be talking about mental health, I didn't know whether I was going to go on tonight and do this show, because while yes, there was a tragedy that happened in the comic book community that we're all very aware of. We'll be talking about that a little bit later, but tonight will be the last time that my cat, her name is Jaka. I've had her since 2009.
Not good.
She's not eating. She's losing weight. She's now can't really even move. So tomorrow at 4 o'clock, I'm taking her into the vet because she's in pain. It's her time, and I don't want to see her go another several days. So this is why perhaps I might not be in the most ebullient of moods, but we know that the community is in pain right now because of what has happened, and we will be talking about that shortly. So moving on with the show, let's see what everybody else has gotten. Who wants to go next? Miracle Man, Mind Shift, or Lady Fantastic?
I didn't pick anything up today, so you guys go ahead and throw Shambo.
Yeah, I'll just pass too.
You want to go, Miracle Man?
I guess I'm going to go next, seeing as how these guys here were like, yeah, we didn't get any comics. Miracle Man, you go. So
That's your cue, man.
So here's what we got. Let's start off with probably one of the last times we're going to get to see this label on a new book. Here we got Wonder Woman Dead Earth #4. Came out today. Daniel Warren Johnson, a creator on this book. Mike Spicer, I think. Spicer. I've loved this book. I love books that deal with heroes in apocalyptic situations. The old school Wildstorm universe, when they had their apocalypse, was probably one of my favorite events in comics history. They ran comics for like 3 years where the heroes were in the apocalypse, so that was just fun. And not in the apocalypse. I'm sorry, post-apocalypse. And Wonder Woman Dead Earth has been great. The art on it it's got its own style. It's really super funky. And the way they wrap up this series is just freaking phenomenal.
No spoilers. I love the series.
No spoilers. But I promise you, if you've been following this series, this is it's a really good, satisfying wrap up. And we'll leave it at that. Got my copy of Transformers, My Little Pony, Friendship in Disguise.
Did you read it?
I did.
What do you think?
It's fun. It's a kid's version of Transformers and My Little Pony. I mean, obviously, My Little Pony is always a kid version. You don't need everything to be grim, dark in the world. So I'm real happy. I was really happy to read this. It was fun. Now I'd like to see the My Little Ponies in a grim, dark version with the Transformers. You could get somebody to draw it that's really, really, really funky. Justice, was that confirmed? They said they were going to drop about 20-25% of their titles, their bottom quarter of their titles. So that would seem like 5 books. I don't think that's correct. To me, I don't know. Anyway. Konnichiwa, Titus. Next up, we have Transformers Terminator #3. I got this book, the first issue. I picked it up on a lark, and I'll tell you what, this was a shock how much fun it was. Art is very good in it. Really like the art in it. Very technical, as works well with the Transformers and Terminator line. But this is a reimagining of both the Terminator story as well as the Transformers story. Both that was a badass My Little Pony. Both of them, they kind of smoosh them together, and this time the T-800 is sent back in time to save Sarah Connor. And this is like when she's still a waitress. This is before she's like badass warrior. Really good, really good. Highly recommend it if you can track her down. Next up, we have Dead Day by Ryan Parrott and Evgeny Bonyakov. And I am Slavic, so that's probably why I can do that. Bonyakov. This book is awesome. It's really a lot of fun. A lot of people are going to look at it and go, oh, another zombie book. This is not another zombie book. Yes, there are people who come back from the dead, but they don't come back as zombies. They come back as people with all the same feelings, emotions, and mental acuity as they had when they went in the ground. And in a lot of instances, it's just people coming back to be able to say goodbye to their loved ones. Now, you have your loved ones coming back to say goodbye, but you're also going to have your not-so-loved ones. It's going to be a fun story to see it continue and wrap up. There's a nice couple little subplots going on, but it's interesting. I definitely recommend it. If you have zombie fatigue, this is not a zombie book. Okay. It's yes, dead come back to life, but it's not a zombie book. Maestro #1. If you didn't
read it?
Oh yeah, so good.
Okay, so without spoilers, how is it? What happens? And should I be picking it up?
Pick it up.
God damn it.
Did you like Future Imperfect?
I never read it.
Oh, dude.
But
Okay,
I got the reprints today.
Oh. Well, here's the thing. I will say, if you like Future Imperfect at all, and there's some really good stuff in Future Imperfect, burn art in there. This is Peter David writing Hulk. So that alone should be enough to give you a good idea. The art's great. The storyline's great so far. First issue. You have some unexpected twists and turns right off the bat. That's all I'm going to show you. I won't show you anymore. Highly recommend this book. I'm not even a huge Hulk fan. I'm digging the current book, but let's be honest, most of their previous series were nothing like this.
Peter David Hulk was the best Hulk since Ewing.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Bruce Jones, and Pack was really great on the Planet Hulk.
Well, Loeb, like McGinnis and Loeb were good. I mean, but that's Thunderbolt Ross, dude. I just don't think of it as Hulk. I don't know.
Yeah, when I think Hulk, I really do think Peter David.
Yeah. This is phenomenal, man. I'll tell you right now, if you like Peter David Hulk, you will love this.
It's Peter David Hulk.
Right, it is. But this is not going to give you a different feel. It's the same kind of feel, and I'll tell you what, it pulls you right back into the Maestro's world instantly. So, and this is pre the Maestro's world, just so you know. It's not like he's remembering back. This is showing you what's happening. Pretty much, it's the origin.
You can sort of spoil, but does it correlate? Oh, there's that word again from last week. Does it correlate with Immortal Hulk storyline telling now?
First issue hasn't yet. It seems more
references, nothing.
Well, it seems to be going more from the Peter David run, where he was still intelligent and not, dealing with losing control of the different Hulk personalities. But who knows what's going to happen? I mean, that's just from the very first. I don't want to spoil anything, but you open up to a Hulk that is very much so Professor Hulk.
Oh.
That's what it opens to.
Oh, now this begs the next question. Is it a mini series or do they plan on turning it into an ongoing?
Oh, that's a mini. It's a mini.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a mini. Yeah. So it's not going to be a big investment. So you won't be on it too long. And of course, I got Savage Dragon 251.
New direction.
Really, it was good. I really enjoyed it. There was a reveal at the end of 250 And if you don't follow the Savage Dragon storyline, real quick, guys, I know I've been talking about Savage Dragon a lot lately. How a lot of people getting interested in it. Savage Dragon is a comic book being done by a creator who said, you know what, I'm gonna stick everything I ever liked about comics into this comic book, and he has. Crises, Secret Wars, multiverses. The more superheroes and superpowered creatures than you can shake a stick at. And really every single issue has some type of homage to Kirby. Now I am also going to say there are some gratuitous sex scenes. The current dragon's wife is an absolute nymphomaniac.
Oh yeah.
And she brings up sex in some of the most awkward situations, but it works for the character. So highly recommend Batman 97. I'm also going to show you. I got Faithless 2 #3, but I can't show you that cover, so we're just going to show you that.
And unlike last time, I'm not going to egg you on.
Death Metal Guidebook. I'll be honest with you guys. This is my first Death Metal book that I was just like, nah.
I passed it up. How is it?
Nah.
Oh, guess what? That's the only book that my comic shop was loaded with.
Oh,
Here's the thing about that one. It's
Crap.
It's giving you background on some of the characters, but I don't have any investment in those characters yet. But it does also tell you how things went from normal at the end of John's Justice League run. It tells you how it went from there to complete shitstorm. Okay. So it is important in that regard, but you can probably guess what happened. So I liked it, but it's been the weakest book out of this current run of Death Metal yet. Put it that way.
I'm going to guess the threats are presented, nothing's concluded, and you can basically leave it out and not skip a beat.
Yeah. I also got Thor #6. And I'll tell you what, man, I got to that last page. Ooh. Did you read this one at all, Rob?
Oh,
This
yeah.
one you read? Yeah. Listen, guys, if you're not getting Thor, oh man, I can't spoil it. But that last two-page double page spread, whoo lolly.
I'm
Excited
just
for
going
that.
to throw this out there real quick. For those that were reading as far back as his first story for Marvel, Thanos Wins, you see some things kind of come full circle.
You see some things kind of come full circle. You sure do. You sure do. That's a good way of putting that. Ash and Thorn. This is an Ahoy comic. Listen, guys, if you see the Ahoy Comics bullet right there, all right, you see that? That is absolutely a bullet that your friend Miracle Man will give the seal of approval to. I haven't found an Ahoy comic that I picked up that I was like, meh, I don't care for this. This is about a senior citizen who becomes Sorcerer Supreme and has to fight, the endless ones. Written by Maria McCourt. Sue D. Lee is the artist. It's a little bit different on the art. It's not a little bit different. But definitely recommend reading that book. It's fantastic. And then I got Turtles Urban Legends 26. I don't think that's the final issue, is it? I think there's more after this. Like it's going 2 more, maybe.
Wasn't it issue like 24 that was supposed to be the first new story? And
Yes.
it was to conclude the run. And I don't know if they were like 4 or 5 issue chunks, but if it's only 2 issues in, or 3 issues in, maybe we'll get 1 more, 2 more.
No, this is the end. I just double checked. It is indeed the end.
Okay, so I'm hoping that the story is good because looking at the art,
It's rough. It's rough.
it is rough.
It's rough. This series did not get a lot of sales when it was with Image. This is the 90s Image run reprinted. But they got to finish the story, which is great. Eric Larson was the editor on the book. I think he also provided a lot of the covers. Being the editor, they got to have they got to finish the they got to add a lot of his characters in there. So throughout the series, you'll see it peppered with some great Larson characters. And now I'm going to show you some super small press stuff. first up, Ninjas and Robots from Keen Spot.
I don't even know what that is, but I love that cover.
Now I'm gonna tell you right now, the cover is not the interiors. The interiors might be a little bit
Different.
they're definitely different, but you know me, I like me some funky art sometimes, and so I'm just gonna give you a little tease there.
Oh.
It's not bad, not bad.
I mean, it's not the cover, but it looks good.
Yeah, it's decent. It's decent art. It's stylized. I can recommend. I'll recommend any book that I think is stylized. It continues. It's not amateur because it's a style that continues throughout it. They're able to maintain the same proportions. This is the style of art. So some people just draw horribly and then they go, "Well, that's my style." No, you can't. You're not maintaining the proportions. You're not maintaining the same lines. It's way better than that. It's definitely design. And here we go for my last new book of the week. We have somebody who may be a guest coming up in the future. My friend Corey DLG, his book, Another Day at the Office. This was a book that he self-published. Here's his autograph right there. Think of Astro City as an idea behind this book. It follows around a police officer. Another day at the office as a police officer, literally going to the office. He's not a superpowered police officer. He's not a formally powered police officer. He's just a regular cop with superheroes whizzing on by him. I got the zero issue from him last year. This one was fun. He's got a new Kickstarter coming. We might be having him on someday soon.
Cool.
And now, just a couple. I didn't get a lot of back issues this week, guys, but I got some quality ones. Otherworld, Phil Jimenez. Dude, somebody showed me this on Twitter, and I'll tell you right now, it blew my mind the fact that I had not seen this book before. The art is phenomenal. I pulled this out of the fit he sent bin. I'm going to be tracking down the rest of that. That's going to be a very high on the list. I got like 3 copies of this, but I grabbed another one because it was open. This is the bagged but open version of Hardware number 1. And the only reason I grabbed it was because I don't have to open mine now, and I can get the cool little trading card of Hardware there. A couple IDW Transformers books. I just love the ways these looked. Really cool. A nice little pile of later Ultimates. After the world was destroyed, and Steve Rogers is president, and you have Mr. Nick Fury there, which I love this After Steranko style for the cover. You're really cool. 2021-22 there. And now here's my big 3 I got for the week, guys. I was really excited about getting these books. Okay. Y'all know I like me some funky books. So first up, we have from King Features Comics, 1966, Mandrake the Magician number 1. Second, we have Flash Gordon number 1. The Flash Gordon title is actually really funky, man. It was Flash Gordon for King Comics from issue 1 to 11. Then from issue 12 to 18, it was done by Charlton. And then from issue 19 to 38, it was done by a Gold Key, Western Publishing. But this is the very beginning. It's basically looks just like the comic strips of old. Very stylized art, very clean lines. Beautiful book. Beautiful book. I was really happy to get my hands on it. And then last but not least, I have a character that I absolutely love, even though his original appearances are some of the worst comics you'll ever read in your life. But here we go. We got Blue Beetle. Number 2 from Volume 4. Yes, you heard that right. Number 2 from Volume 4 in 1965.
Dude, I just saw because I was watching it on eBay. I was watching a low grade Blue Beetle number 1 from 67. It was a 3.5. It went for $91.
It's crazy what these go for, man.
Isn't that,
Crazy.
that's first appearance of the question, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I have the
want that
modern.
book.
I have the modern reprint, and they go for lower than that. You just really got to keep your eye on them. I have the modern reprint. I've been meaning to get the original Charlton printed book, but they are a little tough to get. I actually got the first Blue Beetle for less than that. The first 10 core Blue Beetle for less than that in Captain Atom 84, 83, 82, one of those, 84, 83, 83. Whatever it was. I got that for less than that. So you can get them for less. You just got to keep your eyes open for them and watch on there. Sometimes people will put them up. It's just stupid cheap buy it nows, and I don't know why, but they do it. But here's the thing: if you've ever read any of these Blue Beetle books, I love Blue Beetle. I love the Dan Garrett Blue Beetle. I love the Ted Cord Blue Beetle. Jaime, I like them. I'm not supposed to say that. I don't love them, but I do like them. It's a nice new take on it. He has.
He's
Yeah.
new.
He's new. He's only 15 years old at this point in comic world. That's not a long time, man. 10 more years, I'll probably love him. But right now, I love this. And I'll tell you what, every single book you see with this guy on the cover, I'm going to tell you something right now. It sucks. It is. They are just the most formulaic, created for their time stories. The art is always very simple. It's not. You're not going to read a Blue Beetle book from the Silver Age and go, man, this is a character that deserved to survive into modern times. It's really it's crap, guys. I hate to say it, but it is crap. But I love them. They get me, right in the heart. Yeah, fair enough, Justice. They get me right in the heart. I absolutely love the character. And, they can't really seem to decide what the character's costume looks like. Sometimes it's chainmail. Sometimes it's a skin suit. You never know. But it's one of those characters that has survived for a long time. And a couple little oddball pieces of information. Blue Beetle has been published by no less than 6 publishers.
God damn.
Yes. Some of his original Golden Age stuff is in the public domain. Because it was with Fox, and then it was with Holyoke, and then it was with Standard, and then it was with, it bounced all over the place. It was with Charlton. They had a couple appearances in AC Comics before DC bought the characters outright. So it's been all over the place. What's that?
And modern?
Yeah, well, modern is just the reprint line from. Why can't I remember? Modern is just a reprint line. Excuse me, it might be Charlton that's the reprint line of, but it's they're fun because of the history to it. But if you read one of the stories, you're gonna go, "Geez, Miracle Man, why do you like this junk?" And that's all I got this week. Actually, you know what? Hold on, I did get one more book, and I'm gonna show you the cover of it because this one was cool. But I'm gonna say right now, I am never buying comics from this publisher again.
Uh-oh.
So one of my Kickstarters came in from Heroic Publishing. And actually, I lied. No, there was 3 books. There was 3 books that came in. Here they are. This is Liberty Comics Presents number 9 and number 10. Now, let's be honest. That's Kickstarter and Indiegogo level art.
There's no background.
There's no background. It's not horrible. You're not going to see it in Big 2. You might see it in AC.
That's a good cover.
That's good. Murcielago Shebat. That's good. Here's the reason I'm not going to be buying anything from them anymore. The reason I backed these to begin with was Heroic Publishing publishes the old Champions characters. And for those of you who don't know, Champions was originally brought out as a RPG superhero team. And they only started making comics to push the RPG products because in the mid-'80s, there was a huge superhero RPG fandom. And, so it was really cool. And when I saw these were on Kickstarter, I was like, oh, it'd be nice. They're kind of old-fashioned stories. It's kind of, again, it's Kickstarter level art. It's not bad. It's just not ready for the big time yet. And within they do these great little bios where they give you the abilities. You see there. Wait, there we go. So you see their abilities. They give you it's all based around RPG. So you could play this character in an RPG. Well, on the bottom of one of these character bios for the character Giant here, they go on this little basic explanation about the character where they go, the Giant is committed to fighting for truth and justice against all the many forms that would be against it, and basically it says whether it's socialism, fascism, communism, or progressivism.
Oh boy.
The Giant fights against it because that's antithetical to justice and liberty. I can't imagine.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say progressivism is bad, so at least we know where this writer stands.
Right. He stands in a place where I will not buy your comics anymore. And here's the thing. Listen, even if you thought progressivism is bad, which I'm sorry if you think, people of color having same equal rights to white folk is bad. But
Captain America comic, any Captain America comic, it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
From 40s to yesterday.
Right. Even if you think that that's what the case is, why on earth would you say? Can you imagine if somebody wrote conservatism being something that the character would fight against? Would we see thousands of hours of YouTube screeching videos about it?
I would expect no less than to see it on Fox News later that night. It's like when Captain America died.
Right.
Sometimes there's slow news cycles. Today's obviously not that day, but we have November coming. So whatever happens in the comic world, it is probably not going to spill on over into the real world.
Probably not anytime soon. But so it's long story short, listen, I don't care what your political beliefs are. I'll buy comics from anybody. I have a huge pile of comics from I say trans rights. I don't know. But there's a whole, you're right. He wouldn't. Here's the thing. If whatever your political beliefs are, I don't really care. People are always yelling about get politics out of comics. I don't care if you got a story to tell that involves politics or involves saying your personal viewpoint. I don't even have a problem with it. But when you write a character bio and it's written where, you're basically saying half the country is evil. And let's be honest, it's more than half the country. But basically you're saying anybody who doesn't want to regress back to 1954 is evil. You're kind of taking a stand there that if the reverse was true, you would see thousands of hours of video content screaming about it. So whatever, it is what it is. It doesn't bother me. I'm just not going to buy your books anymore. I'm
waiting for a comment to pop up here from Justice for Comics, but yeah, you could just jump right on over to Devil's Due and get one of those AOC comics.
Well, that's just it. If I'm buying an AOC comic, I know what I'm getting, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have an idea. Oh, okay. I'm getting the progressive. I'm getting the progressive character, right? Exactly. I'm getting a very progressive book here. I bought a comic about superheroes, and you're telling me that progressives are evil to the point where they're on par with communism and fascism. If I said conservatism was evil, on par with communism and fascism in my comic, somebody would have a problem with it.
Yeah, socialism, depending on who's doing it, ain't all that bad.
Right.
There was a guy named Bernie Sanders that a lot of people got behind, and he's the title of it is called A Democratic Socialist. Right. I don't want to get into the whole backlog of what it is, but maybe before throwing around ad hominem attacks, maybe look up the word before you use it.
Right. It reeks of somebody who has an idea of politics that is, they've only been watching one news channel, and that news channel is one I won't even repeat. So. We'll leave it at that.
I don't know. Every time I keep hearing the name of that one network, I keep thinking they're talking about, it's like, wait a second, a news network for the Green Lanterns?
Yeah, right. Same here, man. Same here. So anyway, those are the books that your boy Miracle Man got today. Well, this week.
Alright, so let's see here. I know that there's some political books that Lady Fantastic does have.
I don't want to show them. I think we should just move on to the subject at hand.
Okay.
Oh, it is 11:30. Yeah, I was yakking.
We're getting there. And I know that Comics on the Mind, you didn't get anything. So the subject of tonight is Not Near Mint. This is the 52nd episode of Comic Books, YouTube, and Mental Health. So over the weekend, we lost somebody that has been very important to the comic book community. And right now, I just want to open up the chat to those that knew him, that might be having problems of their own, and just see how the comic community is doing right now, because there's other things in your life that could be going on. But no matter what, you can always jump onto YouTube and see any one of us here and reach out, and within minutes, you might forget your problems for a few minutes. But we have one of these things here of, the rule number 1. But the reality is things are hard, and sometimes it takes a little bit of strength just to reach out and say, hi. Oh, there you go.
That's for you, Kenny. Sorry.
So what I'm going to wind up doing here, I will drop the link into the chat here. If anybody wants to come on, we will keep the show open for at least the next half hour or so. So here you go. It is in the chat right now. And let's just go around. Let's see how everyone's doing. It's been a long week. Let's start with going around clockwise. So Mind Shift, how's things going with you?
For me, when I found out about, Comic Jabroni, like it hit really hard, and I'm always dealing with I'm always up and down. I'm either like really, really good or really low, and when I found out, I was definitely in a low space, so it kind of hit me really hard, but it also made me take a step back and also look at how important this community is to me and my mental health, because, with dealing with anxiety, depression, I'm always walking a thin line, of being very positive, being very happy, and also being very, sometimes being very numb. So, I look at this community as a way of not just going on and, getting a couple minutes of, letting go, for a couple minutes, but it's a way for me to, get rid of that shit and come out of that, that darkness. So that's why I appreciate this community so well, because that's, when it comes to mental health, support is the key. Your support network, your support circle is very important. Checking in with them and getting things off your chest. Because I used to be one of those people that bottle, and I still, from time to time, I bottle stuff up, but being able to vent to you guys really helps, it really helps my mental state. So, I'm still kind of hurting. So, yeah.
Yeah. This year, 2020, just saw that in the chat somewhere. 2020 has just been a really shit year for this year, just all together. And it's just been compounding back to back between, not working for some of us, not being able to see one another, hug one another, shake hands, just to see one another in public.
I myself had a rough start to the year. I think I shared with you guys. I had 3 deaths in the family pre-COVID in 2020. So starting at the beginning of March, when things started going lockdown, we had already experienced our third funeral, and that's been a challenge. But for me personally, and I hope for a lot of other people, one of the things that I myself try to concentrate on is, with this community, with the comic community, both on YouTube, on Twitter, none of us are ever really alone. We share something that It's certainly become popular amongst people who haven't been into it in the past. Obviously, comics is very much at the forefront of modern, or at least superheroes and comics, in comics, are very much at the forefront of popular literature and pop culture right now. But we share a level that is deeper than most people are ever going to see. And, whenever I've had a tough time, and I can go online, I could go to YouTube, I could go to Twitter, and I can chat with people about comics all day long. And of course, there's always that toxicity in any community, but for the most part, you can get past that if you just choose not to interact with it and just enjoy yourself. And for me personally, that's been something that's pulled me through a lot of the times that it's been tough being trapped at home, essentially going to the grocery store and the comic shop and nothing else for the last 5 months.
Yeah. So I think, regardless of how someone is, taken from us, it hurts. It hurts. And there's like an effect, a ripple effect. And, somebody that had such an infectious personality as Jabroni, I think it was a gut punch, right? But it also reminds people of their own shit, I think. And I think that if you find yourself in a position where you're thinking things that are negative, that the best gift that you could possibly give yourself is to reach out and ask for help. The thing is that at the end of the day, it's not a personality flaw. It's not a character flaw. It's a biochemical imbalance. You've got norepinephrine, you've got epinephrine, you've got serotonin, you've got dopamine, they've got GABA receptors. These are all in your brain and they work at a specific physiological levels. And when you have that imbalance, your mood is affected. And there are things that you can do to get that back that doesn't take medicine, and you should try those options first. But if you're desperate, you need to reach out to health professionals, and you should never be ashamed, because if you had diabetes and you had a dysregulation of insulin, it wouldn't be a big deal. It's the same thing. And when you do feel lonely, you can reach out. This is a social network. This is a place where you can come and be safe. But also, I forgot what I was going to say. Crap. Well, you've got to be kind to yourself. And you've got to, you've got to recognize that moods are transient. And so regardless of how you're feeling in the present, you have to know that you never remain that way. And so you have to remember this too shall pass. And so if you can stay grounded and remind yourself that moods change, time changes, you can make it. And you can ask for help, and it's okay.
Definitely. And we also have back here joining us Mr. White Gloves.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. White Gloves.
Hello, guys. How's it going tonight?
We're here.
What's up, Mr. White Gloves?
I have never seen the physical embodiment of Mickey Mouse hands. That was awesome. Could you do that one more time? Look at that. Look at that.
There's a reason why it's called Mr. White Gloves.
Yeah, I've been called Mr. White Gloves since, I guess, 2015 here on YouTube. I'm a little OCD.
Mr. White Gloves, and you just ran with it?
Well, no, I've always wore the white gloves for years and years when I touch my comics. And I'm real OCD about my books. I go a little bit overboard in taking care of my books. And I probably haven't touched a comic in I don't know how many years. I mean, it's been quite a while. But I think what really led me up to it is years and years ago, I was reading the comics with my bare hands, and then you remember the front covers, the ink would smear and it put a fingerprint on there, and I freaked out because
You were
I'm
traumatized?
Oh yeah, well, I've always been OCD, but that right there kind of I put the gloves on and I've
Do we
had
need to
them on
talk it
there.
out?
No, I'm
need to do a
okay.
panel?
I'm okay with it. You know,
All right.
I'm okay with it.
I'm glad that you found a way to cope.
Oh yes, I cope with my gloves.
I love that, man. I myself may adopt such a method because I recently was holding a comic and realized how sweaty my palm was becoming and panicked for a
It
moment,
does.
thinking, oh my God, I have just ruined this book.
Especially when it's a dark cover, a rich color.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
You can smear that ink, especially these new comics. You can smear that ink on the inner pages, and you
And when
look.
it's hot outside and shit, and you just try to get like
yeah.
a little surface contact, so you're like holding the bottom of it, like ooh.
Oh yeah.
See, I'll sit there and I'll look my comics over with a magnifying glass. I mean, I'm real picky. Oh yeah, I press
You're
and
that
clean
guy.
I press and clean my books myself, and I don't do anybody else's. I just do my own. And
Hey.
like I said, a lot of people don't realize that when you go to a store and you pick up a comic, you can go back and you can look at that comic under a magnifying glass. I got one of those ones that bend down and has a light on it and everything. You can see where other people's touch those books.
Yeah.
And
like, you see
CGC
inside.
will look at them. CGC will look at that when they grade them. They'll put them
Yeah.
under there and they'll look and see a
There's a
fingerprint.
thumbprint.
And
Yeah.
people will say, well, I know that was a 9.8. Why did I get a 9.6? Because it's got a fingerprint somewhere on it.
Mhm.
And now all I can think of is that Superman issue #1 that we saw like earlier this year. Maybe it was last year. Time blends together. It's Blur's Day today. And it was looking for a one of Superman. It was like an 8.0 or so. And he's just going,
Yeah.
no white glove, just bare fingers.
Well, I'll give you some advice. If you start using the white gloves, make sure you start out handling books that you don't mind accidentally tearing or anything, because this takes a while to get used to. I bag and board with my gloves on, and I'm able to grab the Mylar in the bags and everything and do all that with my gloves. I even got a reader, a comic reader, that when I read, I set them in a cradle and I read them and I turn the pages with a what they call a bone stick, and I'll turn the pages with the bone stick. So yeah, I'm pretty OCD about my books.
I appreciate your attention to detail.
Facts.
But
Facts. I'm
I've been
impressed.
spending the last 2 hours in my room back here looking for the rest of my Venom run, and I've almost found it all. It was mixed in with probably 40, 50 long boxes.
Oof.
And I've been going through them, and I finally found just about all of them. I'm missing some, but I know there's somewhere in these racks over here. You know, I just got to find them. So it's been driving me crazy for 2 days. Say that again.
I hope you found number 30.
Oh, number 30 or number 3? Oh yeah, I found it. Let me see.
Yeah, right. Good.
That one.
That's all that matters.
Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, I was looking all over for it, and not only did I find it, I ended up finding 2 of them.
Hot damn.
Look at that.
All right,
Very
I'll
nice.
blow you up. Hold on a second. Putting you up on full screen.
Oh,
Put them on blast. There we go.
Hey, did you check it for thumbprints? Did you CSI it?
if these are in Mylar, which my whole collection is in Mylar.
God
And-
dang.
Yeah, every single book I got, close to 30,000 books, are all in Mylar.
Wow.
And if these are in Mylar, they've been checked. Believe me, they come with the stamp of approval. I've been doing that stamp right there for years.
That's awesome.
So let's
I
put
don't
that,
doubt you.
that blown up. Show the people.
Oh, okay. I've noticed some other people have started doing it, but I've been doing it for years.
Yep.
Look at that.
Nice.
Awesome.
So, and then I found the other number 3.
Very nice. That's pretty.
Then other one?
What print is the one on in your left hand? What print
This
number?
one?
Yeah.
I don't really know. It just says variant edition. They're both variants. This one's a variant edition. This one's a second printing right here.
Yeah. The other one, on the barcode, it should say like 001 something one.
There's no barcode.
There will probably be on the back.
Yeah.
He's not taking it out.
Oh no.
No.
Then I found my other number one
The
that
Google
I
machine.
like so well.
That's awesome.
So, then I don't know where this one come from. I don't even know if it's a Venom. I'm thinking it is.
I think that's Uncanny Inhumans.
Maybe that's in humans. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know how I got in this box, but
You need to keep it though. It's a Kebra.
oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Great run.
But like I said, I ended up finding a bunch of these, and I was digging everywhere. I was pulling them out everywhere. I found Silver Age books I forgot I had, and that I'm just like going nuts finding books left and right.
Well, yeah,
He was saying that one that I was asking about. They were saying it's a first print. It's a store exclusive first print.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know how I got that one, but I did. So, oh well.
Store exclusive.
I ended up with it somehow, but yeah, I still hadn't bagged and boarded these other three I found. I mean, they're bagged and board, but they're in poly. These, this one,
Okay.
Nice.
and then this one.
All right.
They come from the comic shop, and I didn't even do anything with them. And then I got these recently. I ordered 3 of these, and I ordered 1 signed and 2 not signed. And they were gracious enough to send me 1 not signed
Oh man.
Oh, nice.
and 2 signed.
Wow.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Super cool.
Very cool.
So I got the Strange Academy, and they're signed by Scotty Young. So I got to find a special place for these next.
Next to your bed.
In a vault.
Oh well, I'm building a shop. They're going to be pouring concrete here not too long from now,
Sweet.
and it's going to be a 30 by 50 barn, and that's where all my collection. I can't hold them more in my house.
You're making your own shop?
Yes, it's going to be that. I'll be doing videos on it. It's going to be called the Comic Empire, and when I'll show how I decorate it and how I build the rooms. And my comics are going to have a totally different air conditioning system where it's all climate controlled.
They're gonna think you're growing pot out there, boy.
Well, believe me, I would if they started making it legal. I got a greenhouse that I can start growing it.
We're coming to visit. We're coming over. We're gonna smoke, and then we're spending 4 hours in your comic shop.
Well,
Yes.
I won't smoke, but I'll sure sell it.
There you go. You gotta get comics somehow.
Yeah, you never dip into your own stash. So
That's true. Rule number 1.
Rule
So
number 1,
to-
don't die. But rule number 4.
To any federal agents currently watching Not Near Mint, just to let you know, this has all been a comedy bit.
Good, everybody.
Alleged claims, alleged.
my brother's a cop.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah,
All
That
right.
explains a lot.
he's a chief deputy sheriff.
Well, I got a guard cat. She'll tear them the hell apart.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Look at her. She's a killer.
True.
Just
True.
kidding.
I would not.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing in my comic room for last 2 hours, looking for all my Venom books. And
So do you need a crisis counselor?
no, I mean, if I'd went another day, yeah, probably, because it took me. I'm still looking for my Hulk 4. It's somewhere in probably
damn.
90 long boxes. It's somewhere in 90 long boxes. I haven't seen it in probably 25, 30 years.
Are you
So
gonna start documenting what's in what, or creating like a labeling system?
every one of my books are when I get them out to my new Comic Empire, everything's going to be cataloged, recatalogued, and redone. I'm taking everything out of the Mylar again and going to grade it and put everything on the back of the boards. And it's all going to be ready for if I ever pass away, my son will know exactly what to do with
Are
it.
you gonna get
Am I
are you
going to
gonna
get a what?
a good ass security system for it?
Oh yeah, my house has got cameras and burglar alarms and everything on it.
Good, because somebody messes with my comics, I'll come after them with a bat.
Oh yeah,
What happened to Flashpoint?
Yeah, Flashpoint got robbed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my comics are all going. I have security cameras around my house and burglar alarm, and believe me, the small town I live in. My two brothers live right on each side of me, and my mom and dad live right across the street. So we're all right here, and we're in a close knit neighborhood.
Yeah, you're fine.
That's helpful.
So
Don't mess with him or his comics.
So going back, when you said Hulk 4, I think you didn't mean the Jeff Loeb, Ed McGuinness run. You meant Incredible, didn't you?
yes, the 1960s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're missing because you have it, but you cannot locate it. An Incredible Hulk number 4.
yeah, it's misfiled.
I'm
Yeah,
coming home.
That's
Edith.
30, look, okay, it's a 1 in 30,000. He's got a
Well,
couple to go through.
yeah, it's somewhere. It may be out in the storage. I don't know. I mean, I know I got it, but it took me forever to find my Spider-Man 300. And when I was looking for them, I ended up having 4 copies of those. So I went, all right, here they are. Then I was digging through a box. I said, well, here's 2 more.
I just need one. I don't have one. I had one. It was in 1996.
And
Don't have one, never had one.
those were picked up off the stand. Yeah, they were bought right off the stand.
A lot of people have that issue that have never gotten rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they probably never will until they pass. And then someone goes, look at all this crap. All right, let's file this on Let Go. Free, just come pick this crap up.
I
That's
found
why
this.
with Mr. White Gloves, I'll really quick tell you this. For all this back behind me, there's 13,000, almost 14,000 books. Right at the beginning of COVID, I bought CLZ. It took about 3 weeks just to catalog everything. And I'm not talking about taking out of the bag, putting it back in. So if it took 3 weeks for 13,000 books, I can only imagine taking one by one and then grading it, writing the grade by. That's going to take that's your next year's goal.
Oh yeah, and I'm old school. See, I use a checklist. This is a checklist.
Oh my
And
God.
And it's got every book all the way up until 2008. This is what I take on the road with me, and I checklist it all because I don't do computer stuff, and because hard drives can fail and everything like that. So this is my on the road copy. This is my master copy. Oh, where's it at?
I haven't seen somebody do this since 1999, man. This is impressive.
I'm
This is
loving it.
impressive.
This is my new one. This is the new one.
Wow.
And it's
Wow.
got a system. It's got a system. It has a slash through the box for 1 copy, an X for 2 copy, and an X with a circle for 3 copies.
Jeez.
So if it's over 3 copies, there's no
You're good.
keeping track.
So not only do you have it annotated, you have a fucking legend.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I've been doing that, and I got back in the 1976. I still have the folders that the notebook paper I wrote everything back out and graded it back then, and
I
they're
remember
in
doing that in the
folders.
80s.
So I found this a while ago, and I forgot I'd bought this.
That's awesome.
That's the T-shirt variant,
Aw.
the Jack Kirby T-shirt.
I have that Hulk on a shirt, but it's like a newer shirt from Walmart.
It's Hulk 709. So I just ran across that. And
Nice.
I got a stack here that I need to put up, and I got too many boxes to go through. I mean, this is just I don't know if you can see it. I hope I don't disconnect nothing, but that's some of my boxes. I mean,
And you
Some
probably
of
have them in other areas of the house too.
oh, this is my second comic room. Yeah, this is my bagging and boarding room. My other bedroom is full of books also.
Oh my God, dude, I love you. I want to
Back in
be
the board room.
because
Well, I
right
got my
here-
pressing room, presser, and everything, but I'm going to have a big spread out space to where I can do my pressing and cleaning and intake and reading and all that.
You know what you got to get? You got to get a couple spinner racks, bro.
I've
Yes.
got 2 already.
All right, you're set.
I got a
like
Comic Code.
300, 400 probably.
I got a Comic Code Authority spinner rack and a early '60s, late '60s spinner rack.
Hell yeah. Now,
Yeah.
you know what else you got to get? Remember when Pepsi did all the Star Wars shit? You need to get
Mhm.
one of those coolers that's R2D2. And you put your drinks in there.
You know,
And
I
then
had
nobody will fuck with you.
I had a chance to get one of those years ago, and I turned it down.
Bruh.
I just didn't have room for it because years ago I worked in a grocery store and they had those in there. Had one of those in there, and it was for display. And
You
they
need
set
an
it out
R2D2
back.
cooler. Yeah.
They set it out back, and I said, "What are y'all gonna do with that?" I said, "We'll throw it away. Whoever wants it can have it." And I was like, "Nah, I ain't got room for it." So
Your trunk.
Yeah. It's just useless shit. It's awesome.
Yeah, and just what Justice for Comics says here, capacity is an issue because it looks like you have a similar problem as I do, where you're just running out of room.
yeah, I'm running out bad.
You can take the couch.
Okay.
out, but
What's
then I
the
can't open
oldest
the door.
comic you own?
Me,
Yeah.
1940. 1940. Marvel Mystery.
Oh,
Yeah.
Crap.
I
now
got
that's
quite a
a
few.
pedigree.
I got quite a few Marvel Mysteries and Captain America Golden Age stuff too.
Really?
Yeah.
Very
What's
cool.
your favorite Golden Age comic?
Oh, it would be Marvel. It would be Marvel Mystery or the Human Torch stuff because I love the Human Torch stuff.
The original
Yeah.
Human Torch?
Yeah,
Human
Human Torch.
The 40s or the 50s Young Allies?
40s.
Yeah, very cool.
In fact, I can pull some of those out. They're right back there behind me. If y'all want them, they're in my comic drawer. If y'all want to see them.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Give me a sec.
This is better than porn.
Ace McGee is saying, is that the casting couch to be on the show? I don't do that here. I am not Harvey freaking Weinstein. You want to be on the show? It's not that hard. Here, watch it. This is all you have to do. I drop a link and you just come on the show.
Bada bing,
Eat it.
bada boom.
But I know that we are getting a little bit late, and I know that some of us have some work tomorrow. So let's see what else. Ooh, let me blow you.
Birdie.
Just got this today.
Yeah.
Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man #7. Nice Morbius appearance.
Very cool.
Hairdo.
I know I don't have it.
He looks like Taskmaster with a wig.
He does kind of look like Taskmaster with a wig. Yeah, that's not nice.
I'm never going to be able to look at Taskmaster the same again. Let's see what he's got.
Okay. Tell you what. Let me turn that light on that ceiling fan off. It's going to glare. Hang on.
And for everybody at home, thank you so much for coming out to watch us tonight. We're almost 2 hours in. We will be wrapping up shortly. And Absolute Venom says that his hair looks like Morbius's hair. That's why I just shave all mine off.
Yeah, 5 months in lockdown, man. My hair is looking like Morbius's hair if he lived on Robinson Crusoe's island for a couple of months. Yeah, really close to that. I got the wings and everything going.
Oh, I love Morbius.
And just went zzz, although I have a patch right here that's a little bit longer than the rest.
I love Morbius.
Cool character, man.
Well, go ahead. You're on.
We'll start with a 1949 Captain America graded.
Oh,
Oh my goodness, that's
look
awesome.
at that.
Something's blocking your camera slightly on your left.
On my left. Is that better?
Just a
No.
glare.
Yeah, it's a glare. Yeah, it's a
Never
bad,
mind.
Oh,
bad
that's,
glare.
that's better.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Perfect.
Oh, man, that's better than sex.
Man.
Yeah, we're all looking at the screen like this close right now.
No.
Then I got a 1954 Human
Oh.
Torch.
Oh, look at that.
Put it close. Put it close. I got to see that shark.
Oh, that's so
Shit.
cool, man. That's a cool book.
Flame on, bitches.
Pre-code Marvel, man.
Then I got a, I can't remember what year this is, but it's number 36.
Well, I guess I should say pre-code timely, right? That would be
Yeah.
uh,
So cool.
gorgeous.
Then I got Human Torch number 21.
So can I ask, like, how or where have you found these places? Like, where have you found these comics and stuff?
At conventions.
Really? Is that really
Yeah.
the most? Okay.
Well, there's a Hulk 6.
Ooh.
Shit.
Finding Silver Age in the wild is one thing. Finding that Golden Age stuff, man. If it's
Nigh
conventions or
impossible,
bust,
dude. Yeah.
yeah.
Here's
Unless
a
it's somebody on Let Go or Craigslist where they're just
eBay.
like, "Get rid of it,"
Yeah,
Marvel
but not to me yet.
right.
Marvel Mystery Comics number 89.
Oh my god.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Wow.
Anything with a flamethrower is just
That's the Asbestos Man.
Ah! No shit.
And wasn't there an asbestos lady?
But it's so realistic, though.
And let's see,
Yeah, that's man.
Captain America number 77.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
This is history. You
And
need to have
this
like
is-
glass panel displays with lights and shit.
No, these will be locked up. I rarely get these out. Marvel Mystery Comics. This is one of the oldest Marvel Mystery I got. No, I got one. I think I got number 12, but this is 1941. It's Marvel Mystery Comics number 21.
Wow. That's so friggin' rad.
Wow.
Like, who are some of the artists on that?
Oh man, I would have no idea.
So I don't either. If it's fair, it's just I don't know anything about the Golden Age, but I just never focused on it.
Then for y'all DC lovers, I'm not a DC collector, but
Me-
I gave $25 for this back in the, I guess, when was it? 80s, I guess, or 90s? Detective Comics 114
Ooh.
Holy shit.
with the Joker.
That's sexy.
Yes, it is. Black
That's
cover.
sexy. See, that's the thing about those Golden Age books, man. You won't ever know who the artists are because they didn't give credits.
No.
Yeah.
It's work for hire,
Artists
Yeah.
were pieces of shit back then, and they treated them as such.
I got my LCS. He got a big pile of 50s war comics in, and he really had to do some research on them. There's some Ditko stuff in there and Kirby stuff in there that you would have no idea because they evolved over the years, but they were drawing those books, and it's not like they put their names anywhere.
Yeah.
know?
I mean, people started recognizing it as actually like really a form of pop culture and art and literature. And it's like these people needed to get the accolades. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, if you ever start reading the Golden Age comics, they read a lot different than the comics do now. I mean, they have wholesome values, and you know, they like that one Captain America book. You know, the basic story to it was this kid's mother neglected him when he was little, and he grew up to be a robber. And the moral of the story, when Captain America saved him, was that you even though you were raised wrong and everything, you need to go back and love your mother, and and be a good person and everything. And the moral was to the parents to raise their kids right. And stuff like that. And a lot of these books are like that. They're geared towards the family, and even some of these y'all were talking a little bit about mental illness and stuff like that. Well, there's a book in here that talks about mental illness, how this villain was mentally ill because something happened to him, and they captured him and sent him off somewhere to get some help. So they read totally different than a lot of these books read totally different than your books do now.
Yeah, back then they had editors then as well, but back in the 90s when you start seeing Batman the Animated Series, when they had Two-Face, that character psychologically was just a little complex for children of the era, so they really had to break the story down to make it both grounded, effectual, humane, and show an actual human being, not just some one-dimensional bad guy.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought X-Men taught morals. Just saying.
You knew that X-Men, Magneto and Professor X were after Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Yeah.
That's what they were labeled after, or created after.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, Professor X also liked Jean Grey when she was 15.
Well,
or 14.
I don't want to go there.
Yeah, we try and forget about that.
See, you know who didn't like Jean Grey? Bobby Drake.
That's true.
Bobby Drake has never liked Jean Grey, and in a mansion full of men, there's a reason for that.
Wait, hang on. Bobby Drake didn't come out of the icebox yet. So
he didn't. However, in 1980, Chris Claremont wrote a very, very obvious scene of him giving no shits to the first girl showing up at the X mansion there. So there's a very specific reason for that.
Yeah, he was also trying to write Destiny with Mystique being lovers, and then once Destiny died, much like lesbians at the time, that they weren't allowed to be out openly, so they had to grieve very privately about their lover's loss.
Right. Yeah. Very true across the board.
I mean, at one point in American psychology, homosexuality was classified as a mental illness.
Oh, what was that guy's name that did the report? It was kind of weird. But there was a movie after him. It was like Sex Report. I can't remember.
Oh, the Kinsey scale?
The Kinsey was I can't remember. Maybe, but he was a weirdo.
Yeah, there's the Kinsey scale on a scale of 1 to 5, whether or not you might be heterosexual all the way to homosexual, with bisexuality in between, and nobody is really all the way on one side or all the way on the other. Most people kind of fall somewhere around the middle. But you go ahead and you bring that up to the large American public, and they'll go, "I'm not." It's like, okay, he who does.
I ain't gay. You're gay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Here we are at midnight. What you got there? Oh, nice. Very nice.
It up today.
That's
I really
run.
The trade dress on those is very cool too. It's simple, but it draws it out.
Makes it pop.
I love the black borders.
Yes.
Yep. Very
Makes that
cool.
much more difficult to take care of.
It sure does.
Yeah.
I had a buddy. We were talking off air here a couple of weeks ago, and he pulled out an X-Men book, and it was a official index to the Marvel Universe book. And
Yeah.
I'd never seen these little books like this before.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
And they all come in like,
What version is that? What volume is that?
let me see. I don't know. I've got, there's like 8 of them. Or 9 of them. I've got 7 of them.
Oh wow.
I don't know.
It's like the old square bound Who's Who's. They were like volume 4, but
Yeah.
nobody got them because they were a weird size, just like this.
I
Very
got you
cool.
here.
Well, they're like a regular reading book. I mean, they'll tell you the
So,
yeah. Now I have a collection of those too. I
And then
bought
this
those
is
back in the day. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the Captain America.
Wrong cover, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Anderson, Oskin.
the
Cliff.
Captain America one was drawn by Steranko.
Yeah.
Which
this
which I-
basically summarizes each issue.
yeah. Well, this goes all the way till 2010, and it'll even tell you about the story. I mean, there's quite a bit of stuff, for it, for the book.
And that summarizes it a lot better than Wikipedia.
Yes, and also this week, what I ended up getting through the mail is
Oh, hell yeah. Conan number
So-
1. Barry Windsor Smith.
so he don't get lonely. I went ahead and
Oh, it's got a brother.
Ah.
so now he's got a brother.
Yeah.
We can hang out now.
Yeah, believe it or not, I paid $25 for the one unbagged.
Jeez.
No, $20
Wow.
because I didn't have 25. That's,
Okay.
yeah, it was
When
20.
you preface it with that, what year?
What year? What 1970 is Conan?
So you got it for $20?
Oh no, the one unbagged. This one right here, I got for $20. He wanted 25 for it, and I told him it was in a parking lot of a grocery store, and I said, "All right, let me go in and get some change." And he said, "Well, what do you got?" And I said, "I got $20. I'll have to get change and break another 20." He said, "I'll take $20 for it," and I said, "Fine."
My
So-
favorite stories about buying comics always involve the parking lot of a grocery store. Hands down, the best finds.
And that was probably 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years
Oh my
ago.
God.
Oh, very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Now,
Who
if
did the
I'm
cover art on that? Was it Barry Windsor Smith?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful
cool.
artist.
Oh, yeah.
I
His
noticed that we're. Go ahead.
the whole Iron Man 2020 thing, or was that it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Or Iron Man. He did Barry Windsor Smith did the Iron Man 2020 or something.
Oh, yeah. The Machine Man.
Machine Man. Sorry.
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
okay. I was
Or
thinking,
volume 2. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
this news crap. Sorry, Machine Man. I'm tired. It's late here.
Yeah. I was just going to say, we're about to wrap up here. So, Mr. White Gloves, thank you for coming on. What we always wind up doing here towards the end of the show, we wind up saying, go ahead and promote yourself. So if you have social media, your YouTube page, let everybody know, the whole community, where can we find you, Mr. White Gloves?
y'all guys could go over to Splash Page Comics here on YouTube, and you can check me out. I'm going to be putting some videos up when my comic empire starts getting built. But you can go back and look at the old stuff because I traveled around and went to comic shops for 3 years in a row and videotaped all sorts of comic shops all over the United States. I just didn't stay here in Texas. I went all the way up to Chicago, all the way over to just everywhere, and I videotaped all the inside of the comic shop, showed what I got, and I had a blast doing it for all those years. So check out my old stuff and make sure you put that notification on, because when you get that notification, you're going to know something special is going to happen on Mr. White Glove's channel.
Oh,
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show, Mr. White Gloves. I will love to have you back another time. I don't know how the show got away from us so easily, where it's now almost 12:15 a.m. So next up, this is going to be Promote Yourself. Miracle Man.
Listen, I very rarely have anything to promote. I'm going to say head on over to Kickstarter. Check out our guests for the last couple of weeks, the OZ from David Pepos. Pepos, right? That's how you say it? Pepos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pepos.
Pepos. Head on over and check out the OZ. That book looks absolutely fantastic. Last week we had Zach on from the Comics Bookcase with his book Next Door, which is fully funded. The OZ is fully funded. And then the week before that, we had on Discordia, the creator from Discordia. That book, I believe that one's fully funded as well. If not, it's really done. Just about.
It's about 3/4, almost there.
71%. So head on over there, particularly if you like horror comics. This one looks really fun. They're creating a new world where they're going to be able to play in it a lot more. And next week, we have another guest creator lined up, my friend Corey DLG. He's got his Kickstarter DMA coming up. Or actually, that's live right now if you want to take a look until we get to him next week. And other than that, come on by and say hi to me anytime at the Twitters at Komodo1977. We can talk about comics, or we can talk about YouTube reactionaries, because I like to talk about them too. Or we can not talk at all. Whatever you want.
Yeah, by not talking at all, you won't harass or annoy the hell out of Miracle Man, right?
That's right.
So next up to promote, because we have Tacoma Comics asking Lady to specifically promote the auction. I'm pretty sure this will be the auction in support of Edwin Ocasio, the comic book jabroni. So take it away, Lady Fantastic. Go ahead, promote yourself and promote the auction.
So I was actually on a comic auction last night where I donated proceeds to Edwin the Jabroni. But this Saturday it will be the second. Episode of the Saturday morning Cartoon Cruise auction, and it's at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Tacoma Comics. Southern Comic Geeks, Shortbox Padawan, but she's not going to be there this time. Adrian APM, myself. I think that might be it. And if not, I'm a terrible person. Please come by. This week it will be on my channel, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Thanks. Sorry. And yeah, you guys be safe. Take care. Wash your booties.
All the time, baby.
Uh-oh. Rob, you're
muted.
There you go.
Yeah.
I liked you better the other way.
Most people do. No one wants to look at this much listening. What I was trying to say was that is your tip of the week. Go and check out the auction. It's in support of Edwin Ocasio, the comic book jabroni. It's for a good cause, so do check that out. It's your tip of the week. So next to promote yourself, we got, because he has a show coming up in less than 24 hours from now. If you're watching still with 14 people left at almost 12:30 at night, you got some comics on the mind.
What's up, everybody? As Rob has said, yeah, I have a show tomorrow. It is called The Teacher's Lounge with my co-host, Gorilla Todd, aka the Todd Father. We don't just talk about teaching and comics. We talk about everything else in between. You don't have to be a teacher to be on our show. You can just come by and just chat it up with us. So if you have time, it's 9:00 p.m. That's West Coast time. So I know it's probably a lot late for you guys on the West Coast. But if you're up like me, who is an insomniac, come on by. I've also got back on IG So if you're not following me on IG, it's Mindshift with a Y. And come check out all my posts and my silly videos that Lady Fantastic love.
Yeah, there's a reason why I call him the resident IG storyteller, because if you're not checking out his Instagram page, it's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
He does a great Gollum.
That he does.
Just saying, Precious.
My precious.
It burns us, Precious.
Yeah, I was.
I have to say, like when I spend too much money at the comic shop, it burns us, Precious.
Yeah.
It burns
I know
the
that's
bank account. All right, so that is the show, ladies and gentlemen. You can wind up finding me on Twitter at Rob Worst, ROBWORST. Yes, my name is Rob Worst. I can only do a show like this because you don't want to buy a car from me, because who wants to buy a car from someone who's going to rob you in the worst way? So thank you for checking us out. We do this show every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. We haven't skipped a week, with the exception of one time when my internet went out. And despite the fact of everything that's gone on this week, the losses we've had, and again, I'm just going to show my cat because we're 2 hours, 20 minutes in, and it's the last time we're probably going to be seeing her on video. So that's Jaka, and that's the kitty. So I don't want to end y'all on a bad note. So as you see down below, I wind up showing treat yourself as good as you treat your comics. And that is my new rule number 3 that I have just put up now. So be as good to each other and yourselves as you are to your comics. Meaning, when you're playing that comic gories, that you're still trying to be careful not to bust the shit out of that thing there. So treat everybody else about as good as you treat your comics, which is kindly. So check out those Kickstarters that we have here for The Oz from David Papos. And, check them out on Instagram. Check them out on Twitter. You can also find me on Instagram myself. I am Not Near Mint on Instagram. But otherwise, that has been the episode. And this is the Not Near Mint crew. So thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next week. Till next time. Good night.
Night, everyone.
Night. Take care.
Love you all.
You're never alone when you have us.
Thanks for tuning in. If you want to see this episode again, along with a catalog of back episodes and issues, surf on over to Not Near Mint on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Rob Worst, Lady Fantastic, Miracle Man, and Comics on the Mind will be back next week. Same time, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Not Near Mint.